Monica, I cannot begin to tell you how thrilled I am to have you here with us in Fort Wayne, Indiana on a very, very special day for all of us. And I'm so excited, it's hard to almost know where to begin. Later today we'll be going across the street at the historic Embassy Theater. We'll be attending an event to honor your great-grandmother's 150th anniversary celebration. She was a prominent author here in Indiana and well known and respected in this community, and many people are gathering to celebrate that occasion. And the fact that you've traveled all the way from California to be here with us really means a lot. So
it means a lot to me too.
So unfortunately, there's no one alive today that personally knew your great-grandmother Jean, but you did have a daughter, Jeannette, and Jeannette, of course, is your grandmother and the mother of your father, Jim. I was wondering if you could maybe take us back a little bit and recall in your mind your visits with your grandmother Jeannette and what she might have talked about to you. I'd love to hear that.
Well, thank you. My grandmother was complicated. She was such a cross between the perfect lady and this wild outdoors, everything that her mother embodied. My dad, when he was a little boy, had pet raccoons and pet skunks.
Really?
And when I would go up in the summers, I spent at least a week every summer, that from as far back as I can remember, with my grandmother. She would tell me to go climb the fence and go over to the dailies and go off for the day and then come back when we were done. And we would go there and we would hold all these snakes and we would have this really outdoorsy day and play and get filthy dirty. And then when I got home that night, it would be bath time and dress up and go out to these really nice dinners. So here was this woman who had sent me out to play with the snakes and the bugs, and then there was time to learn how to be a lady.
It sounds like in a very loving and endearing way she wanted to impart a love of nature.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, as did my dad. You know, I would come back with these amazing stories and my dad would say, yeah, that sounds like Mother. And I thought, well, then at least she hasn't changed for me. She would never change for anybody, honestly, but she was just really a complex woman that she loved life. We would pick out a book I would get up there, my dad would drive me up there, and we would pick the book for the day, for the week, which one I wanted to read. And as I read it every day, then at breakfast, we would talk about what I had read.
And this would be one of the novels or stories written by your great-grandmother.
Of course. Oh, sure. Yeah. And they were all on a shelf.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, at the Stratton Foundation, we're inspired by your great-grandmother for the work that she did in writing and all that creativity. And then eventually, later on in her career, she did move to California, and she started her own film production company, Jean Stratton-Porter Productions, designed to make films based upon her stories.
Right.
I always kind of figured that from what I've read of Jean, she figured that if I can't get somebody to sit down and read my book, maybe they'll come into a movie theater and sit down and I can show it to them in a couple hours or something in an afternoon.
She had a hard time making the books films because, as I understood it from my grandmother and my dad talked about that a lot, was Hollywood at the time in the 1920s wanted everything glamorized. They wanted everything, they wanted to make sure there was a romantic end to it. They wanted to make sure it was, had its appeal to, the couples. They had just gotten over World War I, and, they wanted something spicy, a little spicy, 20s style. But, and so she had to sort of start incorporating sort of people stories into her nature and into her, the books that were strictly about nature. She had to start incorporating people in there, and that wasn't easy for her. And it wasn't. And then once she did it, she only wanted it to go so far. She was not, as I understand it, wanted no anything risque, off-color. She was a very proper woman, from what I understand. And so she had a hard time making the books into movies that Hollywood felt appropriate, and Hollywood felt that it would appeal to, the masses.
The Stratton Foundation is inspired by Jean and Jeannette and J. Leo to make grants to the College for Creative Studies in Detroit. And those grants are used for scholarships to support young filmmaking students in their entertainment arts program. So that's an inspiration that the Stratton Foundation has and that I have. And I know that you're very inspired by things that your father has done. And I know he loved Indiana and these properties. And I think you have a real sense of carrying on that legacy. And I just wonder if you could maybe share some of your thoughts for now or maybe in the future on what you would like to see here.
Well, I don't take anything for granted with the state of Indiana continuing Jean's property. She donated them to the state when she left for California, both of them. But I think that we have to do things like we're doing tonight to raise awareness and to have people hopefully make donations to this incredible woman that started this. And I think that we have to get her name out there, and I think anything that you can do. I mean, your foundation sounds like a fabulous vehicle with how to do that, and it's really hard being so far away. And I kind of feel like I don't have a voice back here, so I think it's fabulous that you've started this Stratton family foundation, that it can carry this thing forward. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you, Monica.
I do.
And all the Stratton family members here, we're going to do our very best to keep the momentum going and to try to inform and help the public understand the value of our messages and the work that was done. Now, I just have one final question, Monica. When you go to the movies, do you like to eat popcorn?
I do.
Great! You're my kind of gal. All right.